Okay, we are rolling now. So we've got our enemy shooter who is dropping bombs, which will kill us, by the way, but they're stacking up. And what I forgot to do was in my prefab folder, if I look at my enemy bullet, I don't have the script. I don't have the enemy script there. So let me just pull one of these guys out onto the stage so that I can see it in my hierarchy. And I'm going to go into my enemy scripts and I'm going to take the enemy bullet and I'm going to put it on that object, apply that to the prefab. Then I will delete this from the screen and we'll play it. And now let's see. Hopefully that works. And yep. So now the bullets are disappearing, but they're still killing me. They should also disappear if they hit me as a player. So you could go into the enemy bullet script and remember we had that line about what to happen if we hit the player. Let's go ahead and add that back in. We'll just type in player here, and if we hit an object tagged player, then the game object will be destroyed. So let's save that, and let's tag my player, and apply that to the prefab. And now let's see if I can have the bullets disappear. Yes, when they hit me. Good. Okay. So we're doing good. We're moving along. Now let's get our enemy walker going. So there's a new script, enemy walker, enemy E, walker W, capitalized, right? And no spaces. And my enemy walker is basically going to be patrolling a platform. So let's give him a platform to patrol. He's just going to be walking back and forth on this platform. So let's set him up here. And let me go into my enemy sprites because that's where I'm going to find this guy. Here he is. And I'm going to select all those sprites and drag him up onto the screen. Oh, he is woefully small. Once again, my bad. I exported these wrong right from the beginning. And I'm just going to up his scale. Let's make it 1.5. And 1.5, he's like a little demon walking around on there. And if we just play this right now, he's just kind of sitting there and going through his animation, but nothing's really happening. We want him walking back and forth and patrolling this space. So let's go ahead and name him enemy walker, and let's tag him deadly, and let's add our enemy walker script to him like so. And if we look at our enemy walker script, there's a number of things going on here. Let's save it and just make sure that we have it updated here. Okay, so there he is, enemy walker. And it's looking for a start position and an end position. So let's just look at our code here. We've got his rigid body. Oh, we didn't give him a rigid body, did we? Let's give him a rigid body. Rigid body 2D. And we're going to give him a box collider 2D. And I think we give him two box colliders. Let me just check here. Collision, change direction. No. Okay, I think it's just one. Okay, so we've got his rigid body, his box collider, his script going, and we've got these two positions, start position and end position. If we look at the script, he's got a couple of transform positions, right? These transform positions. And he's got a private bool collision. He's either colliding or he isn't colliding. and we've got this speed to control how fast he's moving, and we're accessing his rigid body component, and we've got him calling two functions here: move and change direction. So move is basically just multiplying uh, his x, his local scale x, by whatever speed is, and we set speed to be 2f. So this is what's moving him back and forth on the platform. And then what's changing his directions is we really want him to flip right on the x scale when he is at the end of the platform. So we need something that is going to be testing for that collision. So we've got this thing called collision, and the collision is basically a line cast, uh, which is checking that end position that we're going to create and seeing if it is in contact with a layer mask called ground. So let's go ahead and make those endpoints, right? Because if we are uh, not colliding, then we're setting the local scale x to 1.5. And if we are colliding, then we're flipping the x to negative 1.5. And then otherwise we'll keep it at 1.5. And this is basically just what's controlling our characters flipping from one side to the other. So let's see if we can get that working. We need another empty game object, and we're going to call this one end pause for end position. And that game object, we want it to be, and I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit. Let's zoom in on our walker. This game object, we want it to be kind of out in front of him and underneath him. Okay? And in my enemy walker script, I'm going to set the enemy walker himself as the start position and the end position to the end position. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to check for a collision. Well, first of all, we need to make this a child of the enemy walker so it moves with him. So as I move my enemy walker, and let's say he gets to the end of the platform, if he's here, the end position object you can see is still in contact with the ground. But once he gets to the end of the platform here, the end position is no longer contacting the ground, and that part of our code, which is checking for a collision between this end position and the layer mask ground, is going to register no collision. So his X will flip. And if we go negative on his X here, just like with our player, we see he turns the direction. And now the end position is in the other direction. He's going to be moving this way, and he's going to be in contact with the ground all the way until he comes to the other side of the platform, which flips him again. Okay? So let's turn that back to 1.5 and move him back over here. Okay, and let's see what we get when we play the game. So he's just going super fast, changing directions. And the problem is that that end position is never sensing any collision with anything, so it's just continuously flipping his direction. So the problem is that we have failed to add the layer mask name of ground. Remember, this is calling for a layer name, and what's that layer name is ground with a capital G. So we've got to make sure that our ground here uh, has that layer name. And so we're going to go in here and add a layer. And on one of these empty slots, we'll just add ground and drop this down to add that new layer we just created and apply that to the prefab. And now let's see what we've got. And there he goes. He's patrolling. He's doing his thing. We've got three working enemies now. If I touch him, he kills me. I am in big trouble. There is lots of enemies and lots of terrible things happening. And now I'm almost ready to start building out my level.